Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review presented by TBR Media. Today we're going to be looking at the season finale and the overall season 4 of The Boys. Now, this was a review that I had promised you all to do once we had finished the season, and I gotta say that they came back kind of strong. You know, I didn't mind season 4 as a whole, but the first half felt a little bit slow. It felt like we were diving into, several side characters and their stories and getting them to a point where in season 5 it felt like we would have a well-rounded, balanced series. And so I wasn't faulting them for that. They took a lot of risks leaning into the political satire even further than they had in the past. And I've got to acknowledge that, a lot of people didn't like it. I didn't mind it as much, but everything did seem to come with a punchline. And that kind of slowed the pace down a little bit. It wasn't something that I was necessarily bothered by, but I think, with these last two seasons that we're getting, I think it was crucial for them to also take kind of a more serious approach. And in the latter half of season 4, we get that with Butcher, Homelander, even to a certain extent. They all seem to kind of come full circle. And my only critique is that I wish that would have been more consistent throughout, even though I liked getting more story for Frenchie and Kimiko and Richie and all the other supporting characters. I think Firecracker and Sage here got a lot of screen time this season, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. But if you dial back the political commentary and the satire just a little bit, I think it would have made for a much bigger impact on the more emotional aspects of season 4. Besides that fact, the finale is absolutely bloody. It is everything that you want from a Boys episode, right? Some political commentary in there, some comedy, but also just a lot of intense violence and bloodshed. And that's what we get in the Boys finale. I think that they did a really good job at making sure that this finale really sets up the rivalry correctly between Homelander and Butcher. And, adding the Ryan aspect to the story this season and making it a prominent feature, really, was something that I thought that they did really well. There's a nice little Easter egg kind of post-credit scene at the very end of the episode of the finale that I thought was really going to get a lot of people excited and gears turning for thinking about what the possibilities are like for the final season of The Boys. Obviously, there is a lot of political commentary in the finale still, and it kind of lined up with reality a little bit too closely. That wasn't anticipated, it wasn't expected, but it kind of just happened. And so I think to say that The Boys isn't really capturing the current state of our political climate here in the United States well would be quite wrong, actually. I think that they've captured it in a way that is kind of almost like a time capsule, for some really charged political violence in our country and just violence overall, and the dissatisfaction that people have with authority. I think that that's perhaps the most prominent aspect of this show and of this season that really kind of sticks through all the way. But if you're wondering whether or not I thought, the whole season was better than the previous seasons, I don't think so. I don't think it kind of lived up to the hype in the way that people were anticipating, especially after they announced that season 5 will be its last. But that doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it mediocre. It makes it a good season overall, and all we can hope for is that they have set up the, events for what's to come in season 5 in a really meaningful and effective way. But I want to know what you thought of the season overall and of the finale itself. It was a really, really excellent finale. That episode alone was so worth the wait, but also I feel like the season could have been a little bit stronger. Eric Kripke is still, the showrunner for the 5th and final season, so we'll see what's to come in the future. But what are your thoughts on it? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss another review in the future. Bye, everyone.